We're live.
Welcome back. Thank you for joining us on Facebook Live. This is Heather Hollema with Absolutely Fish, and we aren't at the store today. Surprise! We're here over at our facility where we do a lot of fragging coral, raising coral, growing coral, as well as some breeding of fish and cultivating some of our live food cultures for the store. So I just wanted to give you a little tour. It's been a while since Glenn and Kristen walked you around. Just please forgive us. We have some air pumps and fans and stuff going on, so there will be some ambient noise. I will try to talk loudly. Just bear with me. Thank you very much. We'll start here since he's a little separate. This is our Banggai cardinal. We are breeding Banggai cardinals right now. There's a male. He's contained. He actually does have babies in his mouth at the moment. The female is separated from him. Any day now he should spit those babies out. We provided him with some grassy structure there for the babies to be safe and hide in. A lot of times in the wild they'll use anemones, which one research paper said. I've seen them in coral. I've also seen them in sea urchins, something like a diadema. Which is really cool. So they get they're safe from predators that way. Anyway, how this all starts is they start off with a cute little dance, a little wiggle on either side. The female will lay her eggs. The male will fertilize them, and then he'll take them into his mouth, and he'll hold them for almost a month. So this guy hasn't eaten in a month, and he's going to be really hungry when these babies come out, and we'll make sure we get him fed before the next batch comes. I'll show you some of our babies that are a little more grown up if you want to join me this way. This is a pretty big facility, and this room is a little noisy, so there's a lot in here. I can only show you a little bit in the time I have, but here are some of the bigger Banggais, and they are adorable. We've mostly gotten them off live foods, but they still love blackworms, amphipods, all sorts of things. And they're eating some small mysis shrimp and brine shrimp now. They're getting a little bigger, a little more stable, and should be ready to go to forever homes pretty soon. But they're really adorable. I love their striking pattern. Great in little peaceful reef tanks or smaller tanks. Just overall a neat fish. I'll show you some of our clownfish if you want to see. This is what started the whole project. Over here, these are some of our first clownfish. We have a mixed pair in here, which actually do have eggs. If I can get the flashlight working. There you go, you can see them in the back right there. The male should be fanning his eggs really nicely. They lay them, and then about 7 days later, they'll develop enough so that they can hatch. And you can see that behavior right now. He's not happy with me. I'm shining his flashlight on him. But that's really how he helps them hatch. This started off with a side project in the store where we had a breeding pair and brought the eggs over, did a little live foods, and it kind of grew from there. We are producing a lot of our own clownfish at the store today. Can you see them on the video enough? Or should I bring them closer? These guys actually don't bite. The black ocellaris do. I might be missing it. Zoom in if you can. See those eyes?
The little silver spots on the eyes. I think it's about as good as we can get right now.
Yeah, they'll be ready to go in a couple days. And we'll take them out of this tank and move them into a 10-gallon with a little bit of air, and let them hatch and feed them rotifers pretty soon after. We also have our nice black ocellaris. These guys actually bite. She's not, so I'm not putting my hands in there.
She came right up here.
But they'll be ready probably a day later. And we have about 50% of our pairs laying eggs right now, and about 10 to 12 in total. Those are the praculas. They actually lay on top. We're going to switch them over to tile and see if they like that. But if you wanted to breed your clowns, you could always put a flower pot in your home tank and see if they like to host that and give it some time. There's a lot of tips and tricks. If you want to give us a call or email us, we'll help you out. But let's come this way. I'll show you what the next step is. These guys are getting a little bigger. They're not quite babies. I don't know if you can see them in there. I freaked them out with the light, so they're a little bit in a corner right now. But they're getting their stripes, going through metamorphosis, starting to eat frozen food. These are baby orange ocellaris. They are roughly 2 weeks old, maybe a little younger. But it's starting to get all those stripes. There is a lot of baby brine in there, if you can see it floating around. They're eating pretty heavily. What do you think?
Oh, really cool.
Cool.
Let's see the rest.
All right, let's go to the next step up. Let's see what we can do here. Try to move this. All right. This is so you can see them. Okay. In here we have some larger black ocellaris. There's a couple misbars, but in here what's really neat, we have some maroon clowns. I don't know if you can check them out. There's the nice bright red ones. You got one?
Yep.
Yeah, those are really cool. We put them in here with the black ocellaris to quell the aggression. They are terrific fighters, and if we left them to their own devices without too much distraction, they might fight each other to the death. But they're a great fish to have, really, really nice coloration, but definitely a little more aggressive tank for them. But overall, neat fish. One fun fact is the black ocellaris, they don't come out black right in the beginning. They actually turn blacker over time. Sometimes it takes 2 years for them to develop their full black coloration. And these guys are getting there. They're still a little bit of a mocha brown. Give it time, guys. All right. Let me just talk about some of our live foods that really got this whole thing started. We couldn't do it without the live foods. In here, yeah, it's a little janky, but what rotifer setup isn't? We have 2 rotifer cultures here. They just came in yesterday, so I've just started them up. They're only about halfway full. We'll get them to 5 gallons over the next couple of days, letting those rotifers really produce. And if I can get the video up there, I'll show you what they actually look like. Can you see this? It's on an iPad, but you can see them moving around there. Most of them are females. They can reproduce sexually or asexually. I can do it again. There's a female right there with an egg. That egg will reproduce basically a clone of herself. In the first couple of days they can carry up to 6 eggs, but generally it's only one. They do feed on microalgae, which we provide them. Reed Mariculture provides most of our RG Complete, which does a really fantastic job of keeping our culture going strong. And then we enrich them for our baby clownfish when we feed them over the first 7 days or so. After rotifers, you can follow me. We have our brine shrimp set up. A little quieter out here. And we just set this up today. This is just a brine cone with eggs in it, a lot of air. They will hatch overnight and be ready for us to feed to our clownfish tomorrow. And then on the second day we can enrich them before they're 24 hours old and actually feed them to our little bit bigger clowns. But I mean, if you strain them, they kind of look like that. Lots of little free swimming guys. They do condense on the bottom without aeration. And this, I put them in a vial in a video so you could see them. They kind of look like little tiny bats. I think they're adorable. But very bright orange, fantastic nutrition in the first couple of hours. Maximum 18 hours you get nutrition-wise before you should really start to feed them. They go through that first molting stage, and then they have a digestive system and they'll need to eat. And then I think it takes a little over a week, sorry, to get to their adult stage. The big sea monkeys, the live brine you get at the store. Pretty neat.
Look like little bats.
Now, if you want to see, we have a couple other live foods. I had a customer bring in amphipods and some copepods for me. I'll show you those guys. Oh, I need my flashlight. Hold on. Back. This way. This is another room. In the summer it's air conditioned. Right now it's just loud because of an air pump. So that customer did start us off on this amphipod culture. Amazing food, great, nutritious, a little bigger. Lots of people love them to help keep some of their tank clean, and they're a fantastic gateway food for mandarins. People really like them, something nice and meaty. So we'll take that open. Can you see these guys in here? Yeah, good luck. So these are the amphipods. I can show you a video of them after I harvested them. But they're all stuck in this filter floss. They grow in the gravel. We feed them some flake, spirulina. You can see the mating pair go in right there. They make lots and lots of babies. And we harvest enough to bring back to the store. So if you're ever interested, we can provide it for you and teach you how to train your mandarin to eat frozen food. And then I'll show you real quick the copepods. This is another, I don't know if you can see this, they're so small. These are amphipods in here.
Try to.
You can see a couple little
Yeah, you see the little white specks.
The little white specks. Those are the adults. The babies are even smaller. But another great food, another great thing to add to your refugium if you have a reef tank. Filter feeders love them. I'm trying to catch some of the copepods in there.
Yeah, they're going by the light.
Yeah, sure. But yeah, we do have these at the store from time to time, and I do feed my clownfish them. I have one last video to show you. Just come out here. It's a little less loud. And this was that video I wanted to show you of the amphipods right after I harvested them. There's a lot. You can see I zoomed in on a mating pair right there. In focus, the male and the female, they're spooning. And they're going to create lots of little babies. You can see teeny tiny little amphipods all over here. If you were to put these in your system, they will eat practically anything left over in your gravel. But if you had to do a harvest on your own, or a culture on your own, you could use something like a spirulina flake or something like that. They do pretty well.
And these do well in refugium. Will they breed on their own?
They will breed on their own. Those in the copepods will, baby brine won't, and rotifers won't. You'll have to keep those in a separate culture and put some time and effort into it. But these will be great. They'll reproduce. So will tigerpods. But I haven't started those yet. But that's pretty much it over here at the facility. Thank you for joining us. I'm Heather Halama. Please join us again next week for Facebook Live at 3 o'clock on Friday. Have a good one. Bye.